And it's PLB with Little News, back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to do these MLB teams must trade for Kris Bryant this offseason. Now, I did a video with this for Francisco Lindor. So if you haven't watched that, link in the description below. We've got like 4 realistic, 4 unrealistic. Or 4 least likely, 4 most likely. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you get notified whenever I upload a video. About 83% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed, and that makes no sense. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and leave a like. 83%, come on, subscribe. So, first least likely team is the Colorado Rockies. There were rumors last year after a Kris Bryant for Nolan Arenado trade, and there were reports that trade had happened. Like, it had literally happened. After Kris Bryant's terrible 2020, that would be a terrible trade to make for the Rockies. Last season, it would have made a lot more sense to switch it up and see what good could come out of swapping third basemen. The Cubs would have had to send a pitcher back to the Rockies, and would have to send a pitcher back to the Rockies, and I still think it is a bad trade that the Rockies would not accept due to Kris Bryant's bad 2020 season. I think Arenado should want out of Colorado, but to Chicago, to the Cubs, would not be great. If I could pick where I would go if I was Arenado, the Cubs would not even be in the top 10. The package that the Cubs would most likely offer is Bryant, Keidron Thompson, their number 26 prospect in their farm system, Yu Darvish to the Rockies for Arenado. I do not see the Cubs giving up that much. I feel like they will not give up Darvish because they feel like Arenado is a small upgrade from Bryant. And that just seems such like a Chicago Cubs move to me, because they just feel like it's a small upgrade. Arenado is a better third baseman than Kris Bryant. That's obvious, I feel like. Arenado to the Cubs, I mean, they're going to be a mediocre team. That's what they are. In 2016, yes, they won the World Series, but they've just been mediocre since. Next team is a team that's been rumored, was the rumored team that is considering trading for Nolan Arenado, and that's the Washington Nationals. There have been some rumors about Bryant to the Nationals, but I cannot see it happening, even though Kris Bryant's value is down because of his 2020 season. I do not see a package that would be accepted by the Cubs. The Nationals have one of the weakest farm systems in all of baseball. They do have a really good prospect in Carter Kieboom, and Kieboom for Bryant swap just would not work. Cubs aren't going to accept that. I do not think a trade gets accepted by the Cubs. There are better packages the Cubs should accept. Bryant's value is very low right now, I feel like, and the best package that the Nationals could offer is Carter Kieboom, Eric Fetty, Michael Taylor, Josh Harrison for Kris Bryant. Maybe this seems like a lot to be giving up for the way Kris Bryant played in 2020, but he is still a good baseball player and probably a top 5 third baseman in baseball when he is playing at his best. I just do not really. I don't see a reason why you do this if you're the Cubs. Like, I would take another year of you being mediocre instead of doing this trade. Carter Kieboom is a totally overrated prospect. Get over it. He's an overrated prospect. Eric Fetty is decent. If you think he's got good value, then maybe you trade him. You think you can get something out of him. Michael Taylor, he's a mediocre center fielder. He's the definition of mediocre. Josh Harrison is so below average. Ever since he left the Pirates, he's just a below average player. Nothing else to be said. The Phillies, they have a package that they could give up, but the Phillies, I just don't necessarily see it happening. The Phillies could have one of the best packages. It depends if it would include a top rookie from 2020 and Alex Bohm. I do not see a trade getting done for 1 year of Kris Bryant, and it would really not make a ton of sense for the Phillies because they need pitching, not hitting. The reason why they are such a mediocre team is because they do not have pitching. Their best package with Bohm would be Bohm, Romy Quinn, Scott Kingery for Kris Bryant. Now, Scott Kingery has proven to be a pretty good baseball player. He just was not 2020. He was terrible. The only big hit he had was versus the Braves, of course. Roman Quinn. Roman Quinn is he's Billy Hamilton 2.0. He can run, but he can't hit worth a crap. Alex Bohm is a really good third baseman, and I would accept this trade if I was the Chicago Cubs. I would accept this trade in a second. There's no reason why you wouldn't accept this trade when Alex Bohm, a top prospect, is included. Now, without Bohm, it would be Quinn, Kingery, and Spencer Howard for Bryant. I just do not see the Phillies giving up their two top prospects in this scenario. If they do, they will be able to get Kris Bryant. That's very simple. If they are willing to give up Howard or Bohm, then it's very possible that they do end up getting Kris Bryant. But I just don't necessarily agree with it. Spencer Howard is going to be a good pitcher, and I think either of these trades I would accept. If the Phillies are willing to give this up, I'd accept it if I was the Cubs. Next is the Texas Rangers. The Rangers are a team that has needed a third baseman since Beltre retired a few years ago. They have tried many players out at that position, and none have worked. Bryant would be a good fit. But they also do have Josh John coming up in a few years, probably 2021, 2022, maybe even 2023. And I think because of that, they will not trade for Kris Bryant, even though they could offer a pretty good package, I think. Here's a package with Josh Junk. Junk, Kraus, who's number 6 prospect in their farm system. Kyle Cody, a major league ready pitcher, their number 26 prospect. For Bryant, that is a lot to give up for the Rangers for 1 year of Bryant. They probably would not even be contending next year because they just have a never-ending rebuild. That's what the Rangers do. Next is the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals have a sneaky good package, but an unlikely package that would be accepted by the Chicago Cubs for the simple fact they are in a in-division team. And they could also re-sign Bryant. They have a ton of decent players to offer to the Cubs. The best package they can offer is Alex Reyes, who was once a top 10 prospect in all of baseball. Lane Thomas and Tyler O'Neill for Kris Bryant. I would do it if I was the Cardinals, but I just don't think the Cubs will accept it because it's an in-division team and there are better packages. Let's go ahead and get into the most likely teams to get Kris Bryant this offseason. I think he's going to be moved this offseason. That's my opinion. I think he's going to be moved. First team is the New York Yankees. The Yankees have a package that would be really interesting, but I think a trade the Cubs would accept. The only way the Yankees would even consider trading for Kris Bryant is if they don't get Lindor in a trade. And I think Lindor could possibly... I think Lindor is probably going to the Yankees or the Mets. That's just my opinion. The best package they could offer, or the most realistic, is Bryant for Stanton and Duhar or Urshela. I think that's a good trade for both sides. Stanton is just a player that ever since that MVP season, he has just been so mediocre. He can't stay healthy. And Duhar is a good prospect. He could be a decent replacement for Kris Bryant. Obviously, he's not Kris Bryant, and I don't expect him to be Kris Bryant. Kris Bryant's one of the better third basemen in the game. Urshela is he's an okay option. He's just kind of a throw in this trade. He's like, just get him out. Next is the New York Mets. The Mets have been one of the teams rumored to get every big name, and now that they are finally spending money like a big market team. And the Mets are a big market team. The Mets have a lot to offer, but there is a chance they get Lindor, and then they probably will not get Bryant. Their best package to propose to the Cubs is Jimenez, Rosario, and Nemo for Bryant. And I think this is a good trade for both sides, in my opinion. The Cubs get a second baseman. And Jimenez, they have needed a second baseman for a long time, even in that 2016 World Series season. They needed a second baseman. And they get a shortstop or third baseman replacement in Rosario. Obviously, Rosario is kind of mediocre, but he could be a player that they could develop, possibly. A good center fielder, which they have needed for a long time, once again. And they would get Brandon Nemo. And the Mets would get a top third baseman in baseball when he is playing well. And I think the Mets can definitely re-sign him. And I'll say at the end which trade I think will get done. Next is the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays thought they had a generational type talent in Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but now he is a first baseman. Bryant would be a rental, but the Blue Jays could re-sign Bryant. They definitely have the money to re-sign Bryant, and there are a lot of rumors that the Blue Jays will spend money. The package they could offer is Lourdes Gurriel, Travis Shaw, and Jordan Groshans for Kris Bryant. I think this is a good trade for both sides. The Cubs need outfield help. Lourdes Gurriel's there. Travis Shaw could be a good hitter. His fielding's Jordan Groshans is a player that will probably be up next season, I'm pretty sure. I think that trade could get done. Next is the Los Angeles Dodgers. If the Dodgers miss out on Lindor like I predicted they would, then Bryant would make sense. But if they re-sign Turner, then a Kris Bryant trade will not happen. It just will not. They have a package that is a really good package for a rental player like Bryant, which they took a chance on a rental player like Mookie Betts. If he signs a contract extension, then obviously it's not that big of a risk if he's willing to sign a contract extension and tells them that before he gets traded there. They could have one of the best big threes in all of baseball in Betts, Bellinger, and Bryant. The package the Dodgers could propose to the Cubs would be Gonsolin, Lux, and Pollock to the Dodgers for Kris Bryant. I think this is a good trade for both sides. They could even put May, Lux, and Pollock. I think Gonsolin or May, one is gone in this trade. And it may be disappointing to some Dodgers fans, but that's what you have to give up to get players like Francisco Lindor, Kris Bryant, players like that. That's what you have to give up. Final team is the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have a good package they could offer to the Cubs. Kris Bryant to the Braves is a great fit if they can get the top 10 third baseman Kris Bryant like we have seen in the past. MVP, Rookie of the Year, Kris Bryant. This makes sense. Why this makes so much sense is because for the Braves, they need a third baseman. And unlike the Rangers and Rockies that we just talked about, the Braves are a competing team and just made it to the NLCS. The package they could propose to the Cubs is Austin Riley, Kyle Wright, Touki Toussaint, Drew Waters, and they would have to give up Waters in this trade to make it a better package than some of the teams. But that's okay. I think Pache is the better player. So, which trade do I see getting done? I think it's between two teams. I think it's between three teams. I think the Mets and Yankees are probably ruled out. This may be disappointing, but the Blue Jays, I just don't think have a great package. Lourdes Gurriel's good. Travis Shaw's good. Jordan Groshans, I think, is going to be good. It's a good trade, but I mean, I just am not the biggest fan of it. I just think there's better ones, and I think the Braves or Dodgers are the two teams that will end up trading for Kris Bryant. You've got Gonsolin, Lux, and Pollock, or Riley, Toussaint, Wright, and Waters. Now, I think the Braves is more of a we think these players can develop type of thing. Because Riley's potential is there, Wright's potential is there, and Toussaint's potential is there. All three of these players' potential is there. Waters is a player that's very good, but he's just not going to be the best on the Braves. And I think that the Dodgers might get Kris Bryant. I think it's very likely that they do get Kris Bryant. Because I just think the Cubs are going to be like, we want win now players. And even though these players for the Braves are very good, it's just the fact that I think they think that there are better players available in this Dodgers trade. And I think that's the reason why Kris Bryant lands and goes to the Dodgers this offseason. Obviously, as a Braves fan, don't want to see that happen. But I think it's very possible that it does happen. Yeah, I mean, I predict he goes to the Dodgers. That's my prediction. I think the Braves could do this trade, but I just don't. I think that the Dodgers trade gets accepted. So, yeah. those are the MLB teams that must trade for Kris Bryant this offseason. If you enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll get notified whenever I upload a video. Like I said at the start, about 83% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Hit that subscribe button, get your life together. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back with more videos soon.